Live. Okay, it says it's upcoming, but it should be going. Hi, Avonlea. Oh, why is my format doing that? Hello. Oh, nope. There we go. Okay. How are you?
I missed your face.
I know. How was your holidays? I already know this. We've talked on.
Very boring, but I did a lot of work in terms of like graphic design stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time
face
for it.
So damn dirty. Ugh.
Was it? It was a filter.
Yes, it was.
I know.
I'm waiting for my dad to get up so I can take him to the chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And I'm determined this is going to be the best fucking year ever.
That's how I feel too. I feel like 2025 I was figuring a lot of things out, and now I feel like I understand a lot more things. So moving forward, I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do this thing.
Like, I've already done 10 auditions this week, and I've
Yeah.
gotten 2 of them.
Awesome.
So, but the thing is, I need the authors to give me shit. Like,
Oh yeah, you're waiting on the manuscripts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
really cannot wait until I can move beyond ACX. I cannot stand it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that I've done any auditions yet because I am like getting over my mental block. Like if I audition for royalty share stuff, like no problem. I feel like I have no issues. I get offers, whatever. The minute that it's PFH, it's like and so
Really?
yeah, I don't know why. But I also, like I said, I haven't auditioned for anything yet this year. I was trying to get rolling on a book. It's not due until May. Yeah, final production is due May 31st. This author always has long timelines, and he's great because it's like the third book I've done for him, and they're always so much fun. But so I have all this time to get it done. But last time I had a book from him, I procrastinated, and then I had other books to do, and then I still was like down to the wire trying to get it out. So I'm trying not to do that this time. I'm trying to like learn from past mistakes and go ahead and at least be like doing a chapter a day. And then it's like 13 chapters. And so do a chapter a day is the goal. And then do like an audition a day. So like a chapter and an audition and like send it off. That's kind of my like process.
I have a goal of doing 15 auditions in a week.
Yeah.
Until I can get a certain amount booked, and then I will lower that.
Yeah.
So that I can make sure that I am trying to remain consistently booked.
Yes. And not overly, because I did that to myself too. Like over the summer, I remember I've like vented to you a few times where I was like, I can't stay on top of everything. Like I have 6 books due in 10 weeks. Like you know.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to not do that either.
Move on to production companies ASAP.
Yes, and be a little better scheduled.
A little bit. I mean, it doesn't guarantee you jobs, but it guarantees you better jobs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, theoretically, because like there's some editing and stuff that's gone through, but it also like I also do kind of like ACX for the freedom of you being able to schedule yourself and like fill your gaps that way. And so I like both. Whatever. I don't know that I'll ever move completely away.
Yeah, like you can still do private bookings.
Mm-hmm.
They don't all have to go through ACX.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is true. I like what Paige is doing, basically. I like that a lot. Did you see her video she posted a minute ago? Or probably like, yeah, it's long. I mean, it's 6, I think she said it's like a 6-minute rant, but I
Oh yeah.
love when she posts those things because she does such a good job of explaining like the nuanced stuff between,
Yep.
because some people are like, no, never do royalty share. And she's like, no, like sometimes it does make sense. And I was watching her video and
The
I was
way
thinking
she's
about,
built that up, it
yes.
works.
Well, and because
It
you
works,
kind of
and she
never
knows it.
know, like, well, you never know when you're going to hit a lick, basically. And so, like, even for me, on I've done, I'm on my 11th book. And so the 10 that I've done before are all royalty share. And I have, like, one performs really well. And if I would have gotten paid PFH for it, I think it is, let me tell you how long it is. It is 5 hours. It's 5.5 hours long. So if I would have done that at my, like currently, I want to charge like
Mm-hmm.
150. That's like my minimum that I
Sure.
charge right now. So like mathing that out, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's made me, um, I've sold 208 units so far. And
Nice.
so I've done like, it's been on sale since August and it's sold 208. And so I think I've almost already made what I would have made if it would have been PFH. And I've got the
Nice.
agreement for 7 years. So like I think by the time it's all said and done, I'm gonna be able to
You'll
like,
probably make more in it.
yeah, it's a trickle. It's not a lump
Yeah.
sum, you know. And so I love it. That's why I love it when Paige posts those things where she explains all of that, because it makes me not feel crazy when I look at these things and go, actually, there might be something here, but I don't fully understand it yet because I'm new. And then she's like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this a few years and like we have a business model around it. Like, hey, everyone, here's how this works. And I'm like, thank you. This makes so
Yeah.
much more sense to me now.
Aside from doing a Gutenberg project, Project Gutenberg,
Yeah.
um, I found out that all the Lucy Maud Montgomery books are on there,
Oh, yeah.
and that's where I got my name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought about doing it.
Is that like, what is it? Um, where it goes into public domain? Is that public
Yep,
domain?
yep,
Yeah.
public domain. So if I was to post those on Audible,
Yeah.
I would get the 40%. And
So
I mean, all of
you
the books
find
that
it,
I've.
I don't, this is one of those things that like I
Mm-hmm.
sort of understand, but not completely, because I'm like, I understand it, but I'm like, it can't be that simple. You find the book entering the public domain on like Project Gutenberg or wherever else,
Mm-hmm.
record the book through ACX, or,
I haven't gotten that far,
and then you
but
just like
there is
release
a
it.
video. Karen Cummins has put a video on how to do it
Yes. And I
on
feel like
on.
it's like chess for me, like the game of chess. My brain just refuses to understand it. My husband loves it. One of my kids, like my 9-year-old, and my husband will sit there and play chess together, and I'm sitting here watching it, going, I don't know.
I
Like,
think it's once you know it, it just comes to you.
yes.
But every single one of the books that I have
Hi,
gotten
Andrea.
on the entire series, it's all old ladies. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
sound like they're in their 50s or 60s
yeah,
narrating a children's book.
right. And so you want it to be like more authentic and real and all that,
Yeah.
because I think that I would want to fill my schedule with projects like that
Mm-hmm.
versus maybe doing so much audition. I don't know, because like there's so many of those like older books that are so much better than what's going out today, or like
Oh
that are
yeah,
kind of, that
like
are like
Mary Shelley's
classics and stuff.
Frankenstein is on there. Jane Austen is on there.
Yeah,
Um, like a lot of the classics.
yeah. And so that's what I keep getting hung up on, is like I'll find one and it's already been made into an audiobook because it's like it was hit public domain like last year. And like, I think what Karen has said before is like she will find books that are about to hit public domain and like basically have them recorded before January 1st, so that way she can like claim it, submit it,
Just
do the audiobook, like,
yep.
or like send it out. So like I
Mm-hmm.
guess you would record it. So like for 2026, we would need to be looking for books that are entering like January 1st of 27, and then be recording those like this year and ready to like launch them first.
I think so. I think that's what she means by doing it.
Like it's a race. So you've got
I
ones that
mean,
are just like sitting, your files are just sitting and they're waiting to be
right.
published and you've already done the work.
Right.
So
So
like you're,
I could make a cover. I would make, all of the files, like
yeah,
master them all, and then I would send them off.
right.
I mean, I've got so much dang graphic design experience.
I know.
So,
And especially if it's a classic book, you could do like a really beautiful, like vintage book cover that's like, not super artsy fartsy. It's like that. Yeah. Oh, I see it. I see the vision. I got it.
yes. But I mean, just go to project, I think it's Gutenberg.org.
I think so too. I
You
think I
can
had it.
see all of, yeah,
I think I
they
might
are
have it
all
bookmarked.
listed on there. And yes, according, Andrea, from what I'm able to find out, you just go on there, you pick your book, you can record it, and then go to narrator roadmap
Mm-hmm.
regarding doing uh, oh god, why am I brain farting? Um, Public domain,
Yes.
and how to do it. But yeah, you can use it for demos.
Yeah.
But I'll be very
Because they're
honest, I
fair
can't find
use.
many. Yeah, I can't find many smutty demos in there.
I know. Oh, yeah, that is true. Because they're from a
I mean,
tasteful era of literature.
yeah, people, yeah, it was all about social proprieties.
Also, do you have this like? I have this like secret background fear of like narrating a classic and it like and then just getting roasted by people who like want to listen to it and they're like, "This is terrible! Like, you ruined a
Well, if you're part
classic."
of the Jane Austen Society, you might do that. But you know what? They can bite me.
I know. I'm just like, that's my twisted little brain. But
But
there's
a lot
so
of
many
people,
like,
I mean, it's insane that they are choosing. If you go into Audible and you look at all the Lucy Montgomery readings,
mm-hmm,
they're mostly done by old ladies in their 50s to 60s,
yeah,
and they've all done the first three books, but the last three books of Anne's story, they're like none.
right,
And I loved Anne of Windy Populars. That was one of my favorites, and there's
yeah.
only one.
So then, like, do you think that somebody is doing the other ones because they're not all in the public domain date because they were different, like maybe publication
No,
dates?
they're all there. They're all
Okay,
there. It sounds to me like they're doing them the first couple ones to get, you know,
like gauge
prints
the
or whatever they
interest.
want. Yeah, because those are the three books that are most popular.
So whenever you do this, do you just like, um, oh shoot, how do I want to ask this? Do you look it up on Project Gutenberg, then you go to
Mm-hmm.
Audible and see if it exists as an audiobook
I
already?
did because I wanted to see what kind of audiobooks were in there. So I wanted to see who had actually read them. What were the styles of voices?
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to know which ones had been read, which ones didn't have a lot of choices in terms of audiobooks.
Okay.
There's some that are a part of the Audible Unlimited,
Okay.
so you can do it that way too. But yeah, because I was thinking about doing the first one at least. There's like 20 of them.
Do you think you have to
Um,
claim it on ACX? How does that work?
what do you mean claim it?
Like whenever you make a book, don't authors have to like claim their book on ACX before? Do you have to have a
I
different
haven't
account
gone
to
through
do
the
that?
process, so I really don't know. Like I said,
Like,
I'm gonna go through Karen's stuff, and if I can, I will make a video or I'll make a PDF for you and let you know all the steps. Because public domain, you can perform the book, you're just not getting the rights from that book. I mean, if the rights
the
holder has been passed for a really long time.
right. And it has a weird thing. What I like about Project Gutenberg is they've already done the hard work of like sussing out what actually is in the public domain because
Yep.
it's all based on publication date and then they can renew it. So like even though the standard is like what is it, 20 years, 30 years, something like that. I can't
I think
remember.
it's 20.
20 if they renew it then it like adds 15 or something like that, and so it's like 35 years past the original
They have to
publication date.
continually reclaim it And if
Yeah.
the rights holder has been passed away, or they haven't put it in a trust where the trust can renew it,
Okay.
it just falls into public domain.
Okay. I think I've just found one. I don't know.
Really?
Well, I'm looking at, I don't know about this one because some of these are like very old. Like,
A lot of them are very old.
so, but I'm into like, I'm kind of starting to go down a rabbit hole of like older, like murder mystery thriller books that are like that style. And so it's,
I think I saw a couple of Agatha Christie's in there too.
those probably have already been done.
I don't
Because
know.
if you sort by popularity,
You can
here's
sort by
one.
author.
The Murder of Roger Ackroyd probably has already been done. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's already been done.
But you can continue to do them.
And it was done in 2012.
Hey Sam.
So that's like some of the things. Hello. Yeah. Andrea, very old. Like, I'm not trying to read like basically old English. But like some of those really, really popular authors, like somebody I've noticed when I've researched this, have made a concerted effort to like get their backlog done, you know, at some point in like the mid 2000s, or like this one was in 2012, you know, like
Right.
that time frame when audiobooks started becoming more popular. It seems like someone either knew about this public domain stuff and like claimed them and like didn't whatever, or their
If they're still in the
estate or
public
their
domain,
whatever.
do them.
But if they've already been made into an audiobook, you can't do
Look
them
up
again,
L.M.
right?
Montgomery. Look up L.M. Montgomery and Audible. You're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about.
What?
They don't own that story. They own the performance, but they do not own that story. I mean, heck, even Rachel McAdams did the first one. I mean, there's so many that have done Anne of Green Gables.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
At least 7.
And so if you go down and you like get beyond Anne of Avonlea and Anne of the Island, you will then see Anne of Windy Poplars only has one.
Okay.
And Anne's House of Dreams was also another favorite. That one has a couple of them, but not as much as the other three. People wanted to start from the very beginning. And there are a lot of people that do not like the performance of Anne of Windy Poplars in Audible.
Huh. I guess that's what I thought is like if someone takes a public domain book and makes it into an audiobook, then you can't make an audiobook. Like I wouldn't be able to do it.
You can.
Then I've been making this process so much harder on myself.
Yeah.
I'm making this so much harder.
The books themselves are public domain. Anybody can read them.
And that makes so much sense because I have noticed before that there's like multiple versions of the same book, and I'm like, why? Like, how is that possible?
Yep. I have planted the seed.
You have planted
a
you have planted a big old fat seed. Dracula.
I know, right?
Crime and Punishment.
Count of Monte Cristo's in there.
I know. I'm just looking at the crime thrillers and mystery sorted by popularity right now.
Yep.
Of course, the first one is like The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, that one's fun. I didn't start reading classics until my early 20s. They didn't make us do it in school.
Really?
Yeah.
The works of Edgar Allan Poe. Ooh, if you wanted to practice your like creepy,
maudlin,
like
like, yep.
unsettling content. Oh, all right.
So
I think I just
I've
figured
been
out.
doing that as soon as I get this short, because as soon as I made that post in Discord to you guys,
Uh huh.
about how the manuscripts weren't loaded onto ACX, one of them did it. So I was like, yes.
Oh,
And it's
perfect.
only like 37,000.
Oh yeah, that's not
So
bad
I
at
should
all.
be able to get that done in a week.
Oh yeah.
Tops.
Yeah, because you're full time, and so you're not trying to juggle like a bunch of other stuff with you. Um, I can't math right now.
I've
Was
explained
that
your
4 hours?
grades.
What is that, like a
Yeah, it's
4 hour
about 4
probably
hours.
finished?
Yeah.
4-ish.
So I do enjoy exploding your brain, but I wanted
That
to say hi,
was.
and yeah, I'll see you tonight.
Yes, for sure. Okay.
So
Go have fun taking your dad
now
to
I'll
the
let you get to
Cairo.
your fun stuff.
I know. I'm going to do chapter 2. Chapter 1 was 40 minutes long, so we're going to hope that chapter 2
What?
is maybe I really like this author cuz he like his stories are so fun, and he gives me some long sentences sometimes that I have to like figure out how to breathe through, and then I have to really check to see like how long the chapters are before I say like I'm gonna do a chapter, because I gotta find a natural point to like stop and
I
rest.
make an entire spreadsheet because I break them down by chapter so I know how many
Yes.
words are in a chapter.
Oh, okay. I knew somebody was talking about that, and I couldn't remember who had said that, but
It's me
okay, it's you.
with
That
Puppy
was
Woo. I put in
perfect.
what characters are in that chapter. I put in the date that I read it because I want to know my schedule and how
Yes.
I'm processing things, and yeah, point of views if there's different POVs.
Yeah, we also he changes POVs, and he writes in a way where he doesn't like for the name to be said when a POV shifts. It just has to be introduced and clear to the readers and listeners. In the written
Really
in
annoying.
the written thing, it says who it is,
Oh,
at least on the manuscript.
okay.
But when in the audiobook, he wants it to be like changed without saying who it is. And so chapter 2 is from the POV of a guy named Howard, who is like 60 and an old wealthy bastard. And then it shifts to Lydia, who's like the main girl, and she lives like out in the woods and in a redneck county in California. And so she still has like a kind of backwoods voice, because like one of the first lines he gave was her talking about taking her weekly bath in the creek, and then on her way out she caught like 6 crawdads out of the creek bed before she went up to her cabin to cook them, and so it's like
Yeah, that's a very redneck thing to do.
yes. And so I'm like, I know she's from California, I know she's not from the South, but she's getting like a redneck voice and like tone,
Oh.
because like her whole
Do it.
demeanor and everything is like she's a redneck herbalist back in the woods, and he does a lot of
Yeah,
like
that is a girl that gives zero fucks.
yes, and like in written dialogue she'll be like, like they call her a witch, like some of the people in her community think she's a witch because she lives out in the woods and she's an herbalist, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I don't turn people into fucking frogs, like she's and he's like, this guy's like, I just wanted to warn you that, people are calling you a witch. And she's like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, they can call me whatever they want. Like, you know. And he was like, oh, yeah, people said you were mouth, like you've got a mouth. And she's like, yeah, like a sailor. You got a fucking problem with it? And I'm just like, oh my
That
gosh.
would be me. That would be me.
Yes. So she is really fun and funny. And so I gotta go back and forth between her and this old rich bastard, but mostly it's from her perspective.
Okay.
So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
Cool.
But have fun
Well,
taking
have
your.
fun. I just wanted to say hi. I haven't seen you since last year.
I know it's been so long.
I know. All right. Well, we'll bring the fun tonight.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye, Andrea. We'll see you later. I'm still on. Avonlee's just going to do other life things. I learned some things today, guys. I learned about public domain stuff. So I'm rocking and rolling. Okay. I think everything. Yep, sound is working. We are going to do chapter 2, Raw. And then okay, so Howard is 60. Let me do my intro first. Chapter 2, Howard. Chapter 2, Howard. All right. And Howard is going to be older, 60. He's a douche. I apologize in advance. He's going to be very uncomfortable. And okay. He's like old and grumpy. 63. Okay. Chapter 2, Howard. My idiotic pilot puts the Lear on the pavement hard enough to jostle my drink and spill it on the carpet. What does he think this journey is for? His pleasure? I'm docking the cost of cleaning my carpet from his already overinflated salary. I'm sorry, Mr. Howard, says Janice, the sexy thing I hired last month. She gets on her knees, allowing those overly engorged tits to leap into view, and sops up the drink with a sponge as the plane breaks. She gets on her knees, allowing those overly engorged tits to leap into view, and sops up the drink with a sponge as the plane breaks. Cleaning my carpet from his already overinflated salary. Sam. To leap into view, and sops up the drink with a sponge as the plane breaks. In past years, such a view would have been exciting enough for me to jump her before the plane stopped, but I could give so much of a shit now. I don't know what it is about 60, but once I crossed that magic number, my sex drive ran low on gas. Then, by 63, sputtered and pulled over to the side of the road. The memory is still there. The intention is still alive. It's just the body doesn't want to participate any longer. I hire these sexy ones now to give my associates something to look at and envy. I make it like I'm banging them left and right to keep up the show, but the fact is, I could care less. I took a Viagra when Janice first came on board. I can't. It's such a weird thing to say. You're just over here in an inappropriate work environment, Sam. Yeah, Janice is too, apparently. I took a Viagra when Janice first... Okay. Make sure there's not anything that's gonna get me. Okay, there's nothing graphic in it, so I can do this.
And right to keep up the show, but the fact is, I could care less. I took a Viagra when Janice first came on board, and I fucked the shit out of her with my hard cock and all. But it was more to prove I could than any insistent drive to have my way with her beauty. When it was over and prove I could than any insistent drive to have my way with her beauty. When it was over, and it took less than 10 minutes, my dick stayed hard for hours. After a while, it hurt, and it was downright embarrassing. It was the last time I tried. And what was that? 2, maybe 3 months ago. Dang it, I hit my table. And what was that? 2, maybe 3. It was downright embarrassing. It was the last time I tried. And what was that? 2, maybe 3 months ago. I don't know what's happened, but the days of lining up women are long behind me, and my only other interest, money, has taken a front seat. In some ways, I'm relieved, because dealing with the drama of women was always a bit cumbersome. Once we had sex, they all wanted relationships, which was the last thing on my list. What? I'm going to give over my hard-earned money to some female who hasn't earned it? I'd rather pay some prostitute. At least I know up front how much money it'll cost. Dinner, maybe a few drinks, fork over 1,000 or 1,500, then I'd fuck her for as long as I want with no hidden costs. No longing looks in eyes. No eventual emotional outburst about relationship. But that is in the past, and all I have now is the memory of when I was interested in such things. The plane pulls up to the tarmac. Janice opens the door and drops the stairs. I walk out into the Maui sun and over to the wait. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, James. And all I have now is the memory of when I was interested in such things. The plane pulls up to the tarmac. Janice opens the door and drops the stairs. I walk out into the Maui sun and over to the waiting limo and Jack, my handler. The driver says, "Afternoon, Mr. Howard." I sneer at him and look at Jack. He's not supposed to talk. Jack says nothing, but gives the driver a glare. Jack and the driver are up front. The driver has his glass shield up. His job is to simply drive me to the Sheraton and shut the fuck up. I hate yacky drivers. I pull a single glass from the ice bucket and mix. His job is to the Sheraton and shut the fuck up. I hate yacky drivers. I pull a single glass from the ice bucket, mix a martini, and open the Wall Street Journal, sitting on the seat next to me. It's going to be a good week. I'm going to learn a lot about money. I've been to the billionaire bonus 3 times, and each time my net worth has made huge leaps. It's easily worth the $80,000 they charge for the 8-day seminar. The limo pulls up to the hotel and Jack opens my door. I get out, walk into the hotel and to the desk. The one clerk is dealing with a horrible person with a backpack and no shoes. I look at her as I pass, but instead of her cowing to my glare, she does something completely out of character for a street person. She turns away from the clerk, looks directly into my eyes, and her piercing blue eyes chill me to the bone. looks directly into my eyes, and her piercing blue eyes chill me to the bone. Directly into my eyes, and her piercing blue eyes chill me to the bone. I can't believe it. I'm forced to avert my eyes first. She is so intense. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. We've been expecting you. I look at the desk clerk, then remember these guys have the lowdown on every person who walks in the door. I'm sure a photo of me is plastered on the computer screen as he speaks. I raise my right hand and snap my fingers. Jack sets the bags down and says, Mr. Howard is tired. If we can just have the pass card, I can get him to his room and rest before dinner. Whoopsie. Mr. Howard is tired. Snap my fingers. Jack sets the bags down and says, Mr. Howard is tired. If we can just have the pass card, I can get him to his room to rest before dinner. On these goddamn planes. It seems like they get ruder every day. Jack. If we can just have the pass card, I can get him to his room to rest before dinner. Howard. And paste. Marker 9 is Howard. Okay. If we can just have the pass card, I can get him to his room to rest before dinner. The clerk smiles and hands Jack the card. I walk to the elevator and wait patiently for Jack. He pushes the elevator button and the door opens. I step in and to the back as Jack schleps the bags into the little space. He puts the card into the 16th floor slot, and in a few seconds, I walk into the penthouse, which is slightly better than average. What does one expect from a Sheraton? After an hour nap, I dress and go down to the restaurant. I usually have dinner sent up, but I expect to see some of the other participants. I find it to my advantage to size them up and find their weaknesses. And there's that carrot dangling out in front of all of us. The top 5 players for the 8 days get the seminar for free. Last time, I was number 6, damn it. But this time, I'm taking every advantage, pulling every trick, battling my way to the top. I mean, who wouldn't want to get an $80,000 refund? Sure enough, a huge round table is set up in the middle of the restaurant, exactly where it should be. 15 of my favorite cutthroat entrepreneurs are seated around it. I plaster a big grin on my face and walk to the table. Sergio, I plaster a big grin on my face and walk to the table. Sergio, the good-looking Italian, stands to meet me, holding his hand out to shake. Mel Howard, how the hell have you been? He's a player, though a minor one, so I shake his hand and give him a grin, but don't say anything. It keeps him in his place at the table, tolerated but not accepted. Instead, once I've shaken his hand, I turn to Molly Tobard, the winner of last year's seminar. She's got spunk and talent. One can tell she was a looker some years back. Molly, how have you been? Need a brush. Mel Howard, how the hell have you been? We need Sergio. We need to add Sergio to our list. I'm docking the cost of cleaning my carpet from his already overinflated salary. Sergio. Mel Howard, how the hell have you been? Molly Tobard. Mel, I've been saving this seat for you. We need a brash barroom voice. Mel? I think that'll work. Wait, okay. Sergio. And Molly. Ah. Molly, how have you been? Some years back. Molly, how have you been? Mel, I've been saving this seat for you, she says in her brash barroom voice. Come sit next to me and let's devise a way to beat the crap out of all these wimpy-assed players. Most everyone at the table laughs as I sit next to her, with her overabundance of expensive jewelry and strong perfume and her beehive 60s hairdo. Not one person at this table would I trust to take my garbage out, but these are all the people I'm stuck with. Come to think of it, I always seem to be stuck with this kind of person. By the time I get to bed, I'm drunk, but not so much that I've given away the store to anyone at that table. Nor, thank God, do I have any of them in my bed, though 2 of the young women looked pretty good, and that single young man at the end of the table looked ripe and ready to pluck. I fall into my usual drunken stupor, fully dressed, thankful that I have no hurt feelings to deal with, no mournful looks, no awkward moments trying to get rid of someone I could give a shit about. Well, he sounds nice. I fall into my usual drunken stupor, fully dressed, thankful that I have no hurt feelings to deal with, no mournful looks, no awkward moments trying to get rid of someone I could give a shit about. No awkward moments trying to get rid of someone I could give a shit about. The warm trade winds of the Pacific gently blow all night, keeping the flying insects from finding me. It's so toasty out. I sleep on top of my down bag. It's so toasty out. Let's do it that way. It's so gently blow all night, keeping the flying insects from finding me. It's so toasty out. I sleep on top of my down bag, looking at the billions of stars the 3 or 4 times I awake. Each time it takes a while to go back to sleep. I guess I'm a little nervous about tomorrow's seminar. When I do sleep, I drop into a deep, dreaming state with lots of weird adventures and strange rubber people who continue to confront me throughout the night. A few times, I'm on the edge of realizing I'm dreaming, but either the moment passes or I wake up. Lucid dreaming is always sought after in my dreaming, but seldom happens. The last dream, before I wake, a single word comes to me like someone yells in my ear. Tomatoes. I sit up and take in a spectacular peach dawn with puffball thunderheads in the distance, reflecting the morning colors. Tomatoes. Word comes to me like someone yells in my ear. Tomatoes. I sit up and take in a spectacular peach dawn with puffball thunderheads in the distance, reflecting the morning colors and the cleanest green waves I have ever seen, crashing right in front of me and rolling up on the beach to within 10 yards of my feet. I've never seen such a beautiful scene. No wonder Maui is a honeymoon destination and vacation wonderland. During the night, one of the palms dropped a coconut at my feet. While I figure out how to puncture it with the table knife I swiped from one of the patio dining tables at the hotel, I think about the word tomato and what it might mean. The coconut milk is heavenly, and it sparks my appetite for something real to eat before I go into the seminar. First things first, though. I pass the hotel's outdoor rinsing showers next to the beach, and if I'm going to look presentable in this seminar a few hours from now, I'd better get a shower in and wash my hair before I eat. I can't believe it. They have a giant black security guard on the shoreline, and as I come out of the undergrowth, he steps up. May I help you? I give him my most friendly smile. Just like a hotel like this to hire you, a black guy, then stick you out on this shit detail. I hope they're paying you enough. His take care of business face gets an impish grin. Never pay me enough for this crap work. He does not have an accent. His take care of business face gets an impish grin. His take care of business face gets an impish grin. Never pay me enough for this crap work. His Mr. Average voice disappears, and a Jamaican dialect steps to the forefront. But the man is the man, and I got bills to pay, too. I point at the hotel monolith behind him. I'm going to change all of that. He gives me a curious look. What's you mean? I'm attending the Billionaire Bash this morning, and I'm going to learn how to make 'em shitloads of money. How to make shitloads of money. What's you mean? He gives me a curious look. What's you mean? I'm attending the Billionaire Bash this morning, and I'm going to learn how to make shitloads of money. When I do, I ain't hoarding it. What you be doing with it? I give him a secret smile. Not building those bloated monstrosities, that's for damn sure. His grin widens. I put out my hand. I'm Lydia Bernowski. He shakes mine. His shake is a little weak for such a big guy, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Frankie. Look, Frankie, I gotta take a shower before I go into that seminar. You mind if I use the one on the beach over there? He looks back, then turns to me. You go back into the bushes and wait. My rounds include walking the length of the beach. Once I'm a ways down the beach, take your shower. I'll take my time coming back, but you gotta be gone before I get back. Thanks, Frankie. I step back into the brush as he turns and walks down the pristine beach. The shower is wonderful. With clean hair and a fresh change of clothes, I walk along the concrete toward the hotel back doors. The doors are locked, of course, but I wait patiently until a young couple races out of the door with swimsuits and run toward the beach. Until a young couple races out of the door with swimsuits and run toward the beach. I stop the door from closing, slip inside, and step into the elevator. A plastic tab is glued next to the third floor button that says Restaurant. When the door opens, the smell of bacon and eggs fills the air. With an attitude like I belong here, I walk over to the buffet table and serve myself a good portion of breakfast, including a few extra muffins for snacks later, and some fruit slipped into my big purse. I grab a tomato because the word came through so vividly in my dream. I sit at a table as far away from the waiters as possible and start eating quick because I know they're trying to figure out whether I belong here or not. I sit at a table as far away from the waiters as possible and start eating quick because I know they are trying to figure out whether I belong here or not. Eventually, a thin Asian man stepped over, dressed in one of those ridiculous penguin suits the hotel forces the staff to wear. "Ma'am, can you tell us which room you are in?" I look up as I wipe my mouth with a dainty dab at both corners. "Why, room 210, of course." "Thank you, ma'am. And can I ask your name?" "Lydia Bernowski." I spell my last name like he might get it wrong. "Thank you, ma'am." He walks away, and I continue eating a little faster now. In less than a minute, he is back with a big security guy. "Ma'am, we could not find you in our registry. Do you have a pass key?" Security guy. "Ma'am, we could not find you in our registry. Do you have a pass key?" I take a last bite of my toast as I look at him and the guard. "I'm sorry. I'm not staying in this hotel, but I am registered for the Billionaire Bonus Seminar in your conference room starting later this morning." He looks at the guard, then back at me, then back at the guard. The guard shrugs, and they both walk away, which gives me time to eat another piece of this delicious bacon. The guard stands at the door, and the waiter leaves, I'm sure to find out if I'm supposed to be here or not. By the time he returns, and it takes 10 minutes, I've finished my breakfast. I leave a $10 tip, a quarter of the total amount of money I have, and walk up to the two men. "Which floor is the conference room?" The big guard grins. And walk up to the two men. "Which floor is the conference room?" The big guard grins. "5th floor to your right." "Thank you, gentlemen." I'm an hour early. I already know that. So I sit in one of the comfortable couches outside of the elevator and read the complimentary San Francisco Chronicle left here by one of the maids. It's a classy hotel. During my 45-minute sit, 1 and 2 at a time, a crowd of well-dressed, apparently rich people get off the elevator. They all look my way, immediately turn away, and walk to the far end of the hall. By the time I'm finished reading everything in the paper that's fit to read, and that means skipping a lot of stories about murder and mayhem, the hall has filled with people. None have ventured to the front door of the conference room at my end of the hall. When the doors open, I simply get up and step into the hall and stand in front of the check-in table, first in line. The oldest of the 5 women sitting behind the table gives me a sour look. She looks 40, but some secret part of me guesses more like 60. She's thin and good-looking in a stretched sort of way, with hair that looks like it just came from the beauty shop. It could be a wig, but a very expensive one for sure. "You must be in the wrong place. This is registration for the Billionaire Bonus." I give her a smile and swing my huge purse forward with its apple, the muffins, and the single tomato, and drop it on the folding table. I'm in the right place. I point at the registration sheets. Lydia Bernowski. The woman looks stunned. There must be some sort of mistake. At that moment, the bravest of the crowd down the hall steps through the door and stands in front of the table. The second of the 5 women says, Hello, Mr. Howard. How have you been? He says nothing to her, but simply plops down his credit. Whoa, I swallowed my spit wrong. Help. Hello, Mr. Howard. How have you been? He says nothing to her, but simply plops down his credit card and walks into the room. There is no mistake, miss. I signed up for this seminar 3 weeks ago. I point at the registration sheet. Registration sheets. There is no mistake. Nothing to her, but simply plops down his credit card and walks into the room. There is no mistake, miss. I signed up for this seminar 3 weeks ago. I point at the registration sheets. Look me up. People are starting to pour up to the tables. The older woman looks at me. Then, with a desperate glance, she looks at the sheets, and on the 3rd page, there I am, big as life. I point at my name. There I am. The woman looks up, then at her neighbor, and then at the crowd. No, there's no and, darn it. And at her neighbor. Am. The woman looks up, then at her neighbor, then at the crowd filing up to the tables. She grabs her paperwork and stands. With a flustered voice, she says, Can you come with me? I follow her to an empty side table some 20 feet away, and she motions for me to sit. I sit, and she holds up the sheaf of papers like it has the answer. Please, stay here. I'll be back in a moment. She scampers off and disappears in a side door. People are starting to file into the room and claim their seats. Since I have a slight hearing problem, here's in a side door. People are starting to file into the room and claim their seats. Since I have a slight hearing problem, it's necessary that I sit close to the front. I stand and walk down to the center of the front row, unwrap my shawl, and drape it over my chosen seat among the few hundred seats created in a half-round amphitheater-style arrangement. I'm starting back to the small table when the woman returns with a middle-aged man, almost bald, with a hunch in his back, like he's been adding up one too many numbers on some calculator. Few hundred seats created in a half-round amphitheater-style. Please, stay here. I'll be back in a moment. She scampers off and disappears in a side door. People are starting to file into the room and claim their seats. Since I have a slight hearing problem, it's necessary that I sit close to the front. Since I have a slight hearing problem, it's necessary that I sit close to the front. I stand and walk down to the center of the front row, unwrap my shawl, and drape it over my chosen seat among the few hundred seats creating. Since I have a slight hearing problem, it's necessary that I sit close to the front. I stand and walk down to the center of the front row, unwrap my shawl, and drape it over my chosen seat among the few hundred seats created in a half-round amphitheater-style arrangement. I'm starting back to the table, small table. Seats created in a half-round amphitheater-style arrangement. I'm starting back to the small table when the woman returns with a middle-aged man, almost bald, with a hunch in his back, like he's been adding up one too many numbers on some calculator in a back room all of his life. Adding up one too many numbers on some calculator in a back room all of his life. Small table, when the woman returns with a middle-aged man, almost bald, with a hunch in his back, like he's been adding up one too many numbers on some calculator in a back room all of his life. The woman sees that I'm not at my seat and frantically looks around the room until she finds me. When I make it back to my little special table, she has an angry look on her face. You can't go walking around like that until we have you checked in. I claimed a seat. She gets a flustered grimace. This isn't some hippie Grateful Dead concert. You can't claim seats. I give her a friendly smile, then look at my shawl, which can't claim seats. I give her a friendly smile, then look at my shawl, which remains on the front and center seat where I left it. I turn to her. We were discussing my participating in this seminar. Her face turns to a worried scowl, and she looks at the little guy. He has a book open and points at an entry halfway down on the neatly handwritten pages. We do have a record of you applying for our seminar, but I'm not sure you would be happy with this group of people. I give him a wink. How about I worry about whether I'll be happy or not? Sign me in, and let's get on with the show. He gives the woman a worry about whether I'll be happy or not. Sign me in, and let's get on with the show. He gives the woman a nervous glance, then looks back at his book. Worry about whether I'll be happy or not. Sign me in, and let's get on with the show. He gives the woman a nervous glance, then looks back at his book. Well, she interrupts his stammering. We feel that your participation would not be best suited for all involved. I flew out here from, yes, she skillfully interrupts me. We are prepared to refund your plane flight home and put you up in this hotel for the night. My hand shoots out and I grab her wrist hard. She struggles to get away, but I have a firm grip. Look, Miss Pencil Up Your Ass, I signed up for this class. I'm ready to buy into this sham. I don't care how upsetting my presence is going to be to your sensibilities. You have already accepted me, and I have a right to be here. Unless you are ready for a discrimination suit, the likes of which will make your... And I have a right to be here. Unless you... sensibilities. You have already accepted me, and I have a right to be here. Unless you are ready for a discrimination suit, the likes of which will make your prune face pucker even more than it already is, I'd suggest signing me in. I let go of her wrist, and she looks toward the front door as a security guard moves towards us. Pucker even more than it already is, I'd suggest signing me in. I let go of her wrist, and she looks toward the front door as a security guard moves toward us. The little guy speaks up with a nervous lisp. Wait a minute, Muriel. Miss Brunowski has a good point. The woman turns to him. You butt out of this, Ted. Muriel, he says with a much more forceful voice. I really didn't think he had it in him. She turns to him with a surprised look as he continues. I don't think we can afford a lawsuit at this juncture. Wouldn't it be better that we let her in and let the sharks in this room deal with her? He's talking as if I'm not here. She won't last the day. The security guard steps in. Is everything okay, Mrs. Singer? Everything is fine, Bob. Give me a minute. We are trying to negotiate. The security guard puts his hands behind him in a parade rest. He was obviously in the military at some point, although it must have been a long time ago because he's gone seriously to seed. In the military at some point. Behind him in a parade rest. He was obviously in the military at some point, although it must have been a long time ago because he's gone seriously to seed. The room is filling up, and I count in my head maybe 100 people so far, and they're still filling in. Let's see, 100 times 80,000 each is a shitload of money. I had no idea this was that popular. The tight-assed woman turns to me. Okay, but there are no refunds once you sign in. No refunds for me, but you're willing to refund any of these fancy-dressed people. I turn to the little guy. Ted, tell her how discriminating she is with the statement she just made. He looks at her with a sheepish face. The woman, beside herself now, huffs and tosses her hands. Okay, you get a 90% refund if you are not completely satisfied, just like everyone else. I give her a smile. That's better. Now, I do believe an apology is appropriate at this juncture. She shoots me a sharp look, and with her aristocratic little... Now, I do believe an apology is appropriate at this juncture. She shoots me a sharp look, and with her aristocratic nose high in the air. Her aristocratic appropriate at this juncture. Now, I do believe an apology is appropriate at this juncture. She shoots me a sharp look, and with her aristocratic nose high in the air, she snorts, as if I'm asking for the moon. Apology? I turn to the security guard. You work for the hotel? He comes out of his parade rest and stands tall. Why did I do it in that accent? You work for the hotel? I turn to the security guard. You work for the hotel? He comes out of his parade rest and stands tall. Yes. Then I guess you are as good as an outside witness as I can get. As good an outside witness. He comes out of his parade rest and stands tall. Yes. Then I guess you are as good an outside witness as I can get. I look at her. Apology is in order here. The little guy touches her sleeve, and she recoils like he just slapped her. Give her an apology, Muriel. She gets a look like a trapped animal, looks at him, then at the guard, then settles on me. She takes a deep breath like it's going to be her last, and holds it. The little guy says again, Apologize, Muriel. It's for best for all. It's for to be her last, and holds it. The little guy says again, Apologize, Muriel. It's best for all. When she lets out a breath, she looks at the ceiling. I apologize, Miss Brunowski, if I have been at all out of line. I give her a big grin, but she is still not looking. Okay then, sign me in and let's get on with the show. The woman slowly removes the paperwork from my folder and examines it like she is looking for some kind of loophole to keep me from attending. After 5 minutes, she looks up and slides a piece of paper in front of me. You'll need to sign this liability form. I pick up the pen and scribble my signature at the bottom without reading it. And this registration form and the medical form. She slides the 2 papers in front of me, and I spend a minute or 2 filling them out. She holds out her hand. Your credit card, please, with a 50,000 limit to buy into the week's activities. I reach into the pocket of the blue acrylic sweater I bought at Georgetown thrift store. The week's activities. A card, please, with a 50,000 limit to buy into the week's activities. I reach in the pocket of the blue acrylic sweater I bought at Georgetown thrift store expressly for this journey because it had big pockets. When I filter through the keys, extra pencils, ticket stubs, bottle of tinctures, and even my receipts from Patterson's grocery at home, I find, one at a time, the 11 credit cards I applied for expressly for this event. Slowly, I plop one after another until I have a stack of 10. Then I neatly pile them up like playing cards and slide them over to her. She looks at the cards, then at me, back at the cards, then at the little guy. While still looking at him, me, back at the cards, then at the little guy. While still looking at him, she says with a voice of relief, "We can't accept these credit cards." Although she is not looking, I point at the stack. 5,000 each times 10 sounds like 50,000 to me. She turns to me with a satisfied grin. Sorry, we accept only one card with a 50,000 limit. I take a deep breath of patience, then look at the little guy. Tell her, Ted, about discrimination laws in America. If this seminar was in the Middle East or somewhere else in the South Pacific besides American soil, you could get away with this. But in America, everyone is treated equal, including women with... But in America, everyone is treated equal, including women with... Get away with this. But in America, everyone is treated equal, including a woman with no shoes. She looks up at him, standing next to her, and he shakes his head slightly. Shit, she says. She looks up at him, standing next to her, and he shakes his head slightly. Shit, she says, scoops up the credit cards, then slips them into the folder with the paperwork. She hands me a fancy gold-plated badge with my name embossed in the center. With teeth gritted, she is so reluctant to finalize my entry. She says, "Welcome to our 10th annual The Billionaire Bonus seminar." I give her a small curtsy. Thank you very much, Muriel. I'm sure you won't regret this. I find my seat as the lights from the big hall dims. Lights in the big hall. Whoopsie. You won't regret this. Thank you very much, Muriel. I'm sure you won't regret this. I find my seat as the lights in the big hall dim. I find my seat as the lights in the big hall dim. A big woman sits to my right, and some snooty business type to my left actually snorts as I find my seat, then tries to wriggle as far away from me as he can in his folding chair. For the next hour or two, Peter Zager stands center stage 3 feet over my head and with the help of a hidden projector, proceeds to give us a vague layout of the next 8 days. Boring he is not, but by the time we're finished, much to the chagrin of my tight-ass neighbor, I've eaten my apple and half of the orange. I'm certainly ready for some action.
When he mentions the part about the top 5 people getting the workshop for free, I pay particular attention. The last thing I need is to go further into debt to the tune of $80,000. My motivation to be one of the top 5 is dampened when I look around at the rest of the room and realize that each of the 200 plus people in this room with me The last thing I need is to go further into debt to the tune of $80,000. About the top 5 people getting the workshop for free, I pay particular attention. The last thing I need is to go further into debt to the tune of $80,000. My motivation to be one of the top 5 is dampened when I look around at the rest of the room and realize that each of the 200 plus people in this room with me have the same focus. Like Mr. Snooty next to me, there must be 100 banker types who know much more about how to make money than I ever about how to make money. There must be 100 banker types who know much more about how to make money than I could ever learn in 2 lifetimes. Everyone is dressed to their more about how to make money than I could ever learn in 2 lifetimes. Everyone is dressed in their best tailored suits, expensive summer outfits with huge diamond rings and sapphire necklaces. This is not a cheap crowd, and who am I to know anything about how to make money? But damn it, I'm here, and I put the whole thing on my 10 credit cards. What else do I have to lose? With this one roll of dice, I gamble away my land and all of my plans. I look to my left as Mr. Zeiger is covering boring insurance issues. Holy shit, there is some stiff competition. The big woman looks my way, then gives me a smile. Her teeth are Hollywood straight, and her blue eyes have a clarity. I try not to look around. It just makes me nervous. I smile. Good point. I put out my farm-weathered hand. I'm Lydia Bernowski. She gives me a wink and grabs my hand with a flimsy, female, fingers-only handshake. I'm Caroline Mackin. Carolyn. Wink and grabs my hand with a flimsy, female, fingers-only handshake. I'm Carolyn Mackin. Male, fingers-only handshake. I'm Carolyn Mackin. A well-dressed man appears out of the backstage, bounds across the huge stage, and grabs the mic. Good morning, billionaires. My name is Bill Quantano. A loud applause rises from the crowd, including Carolyn, though I hold my applause until I see what this guy has to offer. Once the roar subsides, he speaks. Welcome to the Billionaire Bonus. Our goal this next 8 days is to change the way you look at money. The applause starts once again, but he frowns and stops the cheers. We have a lot of work to do in these next days, and it's my job to give you all that we have to offer. If you would save your applause until the last day, we will get a lot more work done. A lot of work to do in these next days, and it's... The applause starts once again, but he frowns and stops the cheers. We have a lot of work to do in these next days, and it's my job to give you all that we have to offer. If you would save your applause until the last day, we will get a lot more work done. The room falls silent. That's better. We have a Bard. Mel,
I've been saving this seat for you.
Bill Quintano.
Molly Tobard. Mel, I've been saving this seat for you.
We have a lot of work to do in these next days. Bill Quintano. Bill Quintano. If you would save your applause until the last day, we will get a lot more work done.
The room falls silent.
That's better.
We will get a lot more work done. The room falls silent.
That's better.
He holds up a single sheet of paper.
Open your workbook to page 1, and you will notice your personally signed contract with our company. Go to the first line of your contract.
I open my book, and a signed contract is folded in as the first page.
The first line states that under penalty of the full extent of the law, you will not reveal anything that happens in this next 8 days to anyone, verbally. Not reveal anything that happens in this next 8 days to anyone, verbally, in writing, or on electronic media of any kind. I want to make this one point very clear, that we are extremely serious about all of the points on our contract.
We're going to redo this whole section. I open my book, and a signed contract is folded in as the first page.
The first line states that under penalty of the full extent of the law, you will not reveal anything that happens in this next 8 days to anyone, verbally, in writing, or on electric media of any kind. I want to make sure this one point verbally, in writing, or on electric media of any kind. I want to make this one point very clear, that we are extremely serious about all of the points on our contract, but that this first one, we are extremely serious, and we have a whole bank of lawyers to back us up.
On a video screen the size of a basketball court behind him, the contract appears with a red laser dot that dances to an empty line below the first signature.
We are going to go through this first point of your contract carefully. Then you will sign here, confirming that we went through this one point, then hand your contract to the left, and our ushers will collect them.
The dancing dot stops at the signature line, and Bill Quintano reads the first point carefully, stopping a half a dozen times to clearly define each subpoint. Once finished, I pass my double-signed contract to my neighbor. After 10 minutes of noisy shuffling of papers and 200 whispered voices, I pass my double-signed contract to my neighbor.